takes me back to how we raise little boys. Both young girls and young boys need that education on how to take care of their home, so that even in times of crisis, which happens when the for worse part of marriage shows up, the man can take the reins of the family's horse and not ride it into the bush when mommy is indisposed or maybe she traveled. Hello and welcome to Laraddiji's LinP. Thank you for clicking. Esheo. I'm an African lifestyle vlogger who loves living a peaceful life, and I love talking about situations we might find ourselves in that need peaceful endings. In this video, I'll be talking about the women of the household, including sisters, mothers, aunties, nieces, and just girls all over, and their treatment in the workforce, here in the States and back home in Nigeria. It's November's Living in Peace episode, or the LinP section of my channel, where I usually talk about peaceful living in this chaotic and dramatic world, how I see it and how I live it under the umbrella of living a peaceful life. This section is the main section of my channel, so if you're all about living a peaceful life as well, then this channel is for you. Watch out for next month's LinP episode on the importance of doctors in our societies. I'll be talking about what they bring to the table in terms of how they serve their communities. So watch out for that episode. And hopefully next year, I'll start inviting some specially selected personalities to grace Laraddiji's show. If you're already subscribed, then you are a very important part of this show's family, and you're humbly welcome back to this channel. And if you're new here and would love to join us LinPrimpers, then do subscribe by hovering over the heart in the right lower corner and click the subscribe button. Do check out the other sections of Laraddiji as you're inspired to do so after watching this video. So back to today's topic, mothers in the workforce, how it was and how it is today, and how you can live it peacefully. There's a lot of back and forth that goes into keeping a family, raising children, keeping the household together, and making sure everyone in that family is happy. Now, when two people love each other and decide to marry each other, please stay with me here. I'll tell you what I mean. Neither partner have signed a document that says that the other partner will be a slave in that marriage and do everything alone by his or herself, or to be the cook, or to be the laundromat, or to be the housemaid, or to be the sex mate, or to be the beck and call lover. Absolutely not. You both enter into that marriage to keep each other loved, to make love to each other, to help each other out and solve each other's problem, to wash each other's clothes, to cook each other's meals, clean together, pray together, not necessarily together, together hand in hand, but both partners helping out and pitching in so it doesn't fall only on one person. I know some will say it's because of where I'm at. That's why I can say what I'm saying. Because back in Africa, Nigeria, I say Africa, Nigeria because we have Nigerians here in America, and they are American Nigeria, but I'm talking about Nigeria and Africa. So back in Africa, Nigeria, most of the time in households, only the woman does anything chore related. The man makes the money and does the talking in the home, does most of the talking in the home, as in orders. Thank God for house helps who at least help to manage the house. But here in the States, those cost lots of money. And I'm trying to keep mine or save the little I can. Everything I talk about on my channel is under the umbrella topic of keeping peace in families, in homes, in marriages, at workplaces, wherever you are. So this is my solution. Are marriages easy? Please let me know in the comment section if your marriage is easy breezy like CoverGirl, and we can chat it out. Okay? It's not. So for one to enter into marriage and become the sole person, the only person handling everything one-sided, things would become pretty exhausting really quick. So first of all, what are the three main purposes of a man in a marriage? Let's use Adam as the common denominator. So usually the man is the head of the household. He's the protector and is the provider for his family. And what was Eve's purpose in the home? Companionship, homemaker, and child rearer. There's a saying, one shall chase 1,000 and two shall chase 10,000 with God. It's not in the Bible verbatim, and with a regular math problem, two should have been chasing only 2,000. But when these two people come together, they're chasing 10,000 with God being in their midst. Think about that. When two people agree to do something positive for that matter, why won't it be successful? Now to the topic of women in the workforce. There's so many angles to it. This is what I mean. I can only speak of what I know because I don't know everything. So if you disagree with me, let's chat in the comment section respectfully. I'm open-minded. I would want us all to learn from each other. Why would a woman say, oh, let me go to work? Back in the day, in the time when my parents were growing up, 50 plus years ago, a lot of women weren't given chances to even go to school. So as the years went by and people were getting more educated, many more girls were being sent to school. So after they're done with their degrees, they get married, and then their men, husbands, forbid them to go to work because they don't want women to be controlling them in the household. So all the money for educating such women will now go to waste. They wouldn't use their degree or use their brains to contribute something in the society. So women go to work basically because they have the degree to do so. They have the education to do so. They're creative as well, and they want to fulfill a need as well. Look at me, for instance. I'm working because I've been trained to do so. And YouTube is my hobby. What is the background of working in the household and who's supposed to do it in the first place? Depending on where you are, women will be allowed to do certain things. And unless we change the narrative ourselves, we'll let society dictate what we can and can't do. Back in Africa, Nigeria, again, I won't speak for the whole of Africa because I'm a Nigerian. Men are supposed to be the breadwinners because that's how it's always been. Men go to the farm or go to their workplace and bring home produce or money, while the women usually stay home and watch over the kids and take care of the house. This mentality is true for those who were born more than 50 years ago. However, here in the States and other developed countries, to make ends meet, both partners might need to work. And actually, both of them are actually working to make ends meet. And then when kids are getting involved, when the wife starts giving birth to kids, a crucial decision must be taken, especially if the woman makes more money, either to get a nanny and pay boatload of money, or take a pay cut and wife stays at home and cares for the family. Take myself for an instance. At this time, while the kids are growing up, my husband and I decided, after communicating our reasons for not wanting to get outside help, that we would both pitch in and care for our children by ourselves. And since I worked the night shift on some nights, it worked out perfectly for our family. Now, will this same arrangement work for everybody? Certainly not. It's up to you to have that conversation respectfully with each other and figure out where you both can meet. Who benefits if and when women start working in the household? First of all, in a supportive environment where she's allowed to work, the woman will benefit on one side because she's contributing to what comes into the home. She can take care of herself and not be a burden or liability to her husband. She's smart and creative. She has a say. She's being heard. And most of all, she's happy, hopefully, regardless if she has a job or not. But it helps. Now, does this mean every woman will want this to work? Maybe not. Sometimes I wish I was home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but I'll be lying if I say I wouldn't miss working, even if it's just to be out of the house and be balanced, instead of being cooped up in the house day in and day out, managing the home, which actually is another full-time job if you think about it. No pay, no sick time, no vacation time unless you can truly afford it. The kids definitely benefit out of this arrangement. The kids want their mom all the time. They're pooping, they want you there. So definitely the kids benefit from your presence. Let's not forget your hobby. Like when I tell my husband I'm going to work the night before, he starts missing me when he knows I'm about to leave. Who suffers when mommy goes to work? So now mommy goes to work. She still has to deal with the inequality of pay for doing the same exact thing as men, because women are still being paid less at some jobs. So she suffers herself when she goes to work in that sense. The spouse also suffers to a degree because when wifey is not home to cook, to care for the kids, for companionship, to cater in that sense, the spouse suffers. The marriage also can suffer if the arrangement doesn't work well. Sometimes when women work in a relationship, in a marriage, there can be a strain in that marriage. This can sometimes lead to more stressful adults in that home. Children can also suffer if you think about it, in the sense that if daddy and mommy are not home, they're being cared for by outsiders, They miss the alone time with their parents, and bonding is less. Another issue, and my last issue, is maternity leave. That's another way women suffer. They're given 6 to 8 weeks, only 6 to 8 weeks here in the States, paid leave if they give birth to children while they're working. This is not complaining video. This is not a video that, I'm complaining about, but just to state fact. As a Nigerian, and as many Nigerians will watch this video, and other Africans, we are very grateful people, especially if we're given opportunities that we might otherwise not get in our home countries. I did travel out of Nigeria at a young age, so I don't know much about the working culture and community back home in regards to working women. I would love to research firsthand, God willing, if it's in the cards for me. So Lara, what about the hashtag #MeToo movement? I'm sure you guys will ask. What about it? My husband wanted me to actually say a few words on this topic. I'm not commenting on any specific sexual misconduct or assault case. All I will say is that women need to wise up and be content with where they are. And if they are ever given the chance or choice to move ahead in life by sleeping with someone, please just say no. God will open other bigger doors for you. The doors men will open for you by having relations with you is far more disturbing and problematic, and will actually strip you of your integrity in the future. And please be patient for God's open doors. I hope men and women have learned a lot of lessons from the different cases in this movement. If you are a lady or a guy and you are making doors for yourself and you are opening them with your hard work and sweat, may God bless your struggles and give you breakthroughs in 1,000 folds. Women have come a long way. You agree? Many moons ago, most women were housewives. They had babies and took care of the house. They were managers of their homes. There are still housewives today by choice, which I commend. I wish I could. I remember when I was in school, I took home economics. I hope that this is still being taught, in our schools back home, and for both boys and girls, because it really helps if boys are educated on keeping a home as well, and not just let it fall on the women's shoulders all the time. All right? This shouldn't fall only on the woman. Marriage encompasses home management, and usually it's not taught. You're supposed to just know it magically or through what you've seen from your family while you were growing up. Think about it. If a partner is not a good manager financially, socially, educationally, spiritually, and I'll say familially, if that's a word, I know it's not, but that marriage might be in trouble. It's very important for people to know where their strengths are and continue to study themselves to better their weaknesses. It is also important to ask these critical questions and observe behaviors that foster growth during courtship and weed out those partners that don't offer value in the relationship. From housewives to business owners, now women can be breadwinners, CEOs, head of productions, head of companies, and so much more, as you see in Davido's Wonder Woman. Thank you, Davido, for showing us Wonder Women. Back in the day, women were home and they were available for their kids 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, while the husband was the full-time breadwinner who barely had time for the kids sometimes, except on weekends, during which even that time would still be limited. Nowadays, or maybe I should say here in the States, and even in some African countries like South Africa, as I researched, which is surprising actually, because I think pigs will fly before you see men taking care of kids, wiping butts and cooking. Seeing them in the kitchen helping out, pigs will fly. There are nannies and house help men would rather hire than do the woman's job. That's what they call it, woman's job. Like, I just woke up and I'm supposed, I was born just to be in the kitchen. That's what it will be called. Please prove me wrong. I'd love to read your comments. But there are men, strong men, handsome men, respectful men, educated men, and creative men now staying home. Yes, by choice with their kids, in hopes of balancing the stress of work and family life, especially if the wife is making the bulk of the money. I remember watching one Nigerian movie that caused a lot of problem because the woman made a lot of money and the guy made money, but it wasn't as much. And the woman was like, no, I have to be the one working. You stay home and take care of the sick child. It was one child they had, and she was like, no, I'm going to work. And the man was like, I want to work. I am the head of the household. And, the child ended up suffering because both of them wanted to work and no one wanted to take responsibility for the child. And in turn, at the end of that movie, they realized they had to come together and figure out a working a working relationship on how to take care of the child and manage the home. Because believe it or not, more women are getting educated nowadays and they are holding high paying positions in their respective place of work. So definitely it takes a lot of thinking, it takes a lot of communication, you know, to get to a middle ground. So what happens is, depending on where you are and depending on both partners' income and how many children you have, the husband can decide to stay home with the kids instead of shedding out hard-earned money to a stranger, all while killing two birds with a stone. Raising children that have their parents around and you can instill your values on them rather than a stranger coming in, and you know, so many negative things can happen when a stranger comes in the home. Let me not even get into that. Maybe I'll talk about that another time. But the fact that you can both come to an agreement that someone stay home and take care of the family and be close to the children, you know, I think that's the best thing to having a happy home. It's a very critical decision for a man to decide to be a stay-at-home dad, and even if it is just for a period of time or an extended period of time, this decision should not be taken lightly. It requires a lot of communication, a lot of respect. This does not mean that the man is not masculine enough, you know, but I feel it actually shows how deep the love for his wife, his kids, and his family actually is. So it takes me back to how we raise little boys. Both young girls and young boys need that education on how to take care of their home, so that even in times of crisis, which happens when the for worse part of marriage shows up, the man can take the reins of the family's horse and not ride it into the bush when mommy is indisposed or maybe she traveled. At the end of the day, this is what becomes important to the women. Before you enter into a relationship or a lifelong commitment like marriage, ask your potential mate what their stances are on these important issues I've raised. Give circumstantial situations and see their reactions, and if their answers are okay with you, then you know. Us women are being tested before men commit to us, you know. So you test them in their ways as well before you commit, to see if your potential guy, you know, are marriage material, just like they are testing us. And if a man tells you you can't work if he marries you, and you have a PhD and you desire to work after the marriage, please don't enter that union thinking you change his mind unless he himself tells you there's room for that. Use your head, not your heart. Another thing you want to do, and I think is the most important of all, is to be very respectful in your communication about matters like this. Our husbands are the head of the household, whether you make more or less than him in income. Be humble, be respectful, be polite, be patient, be courteous, and be supportive. And most importantly, be submissive. I know some people will not like that word. Be submissive. All right? We'll end it right here. Thank you very much for watching this informative episode. God willing, we are on this earth for an average of 75 to 80 years. Let's not waste any of that precious time on matters that don't help us positively in some way. You have a decision to make. If not now, maybe later. The ball of your womanhood is in your court. Ask questions if you have any. Please don't hesitate to leave a comment as well. You can like this video by giving it a thumbs up so that I can make more of them. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Laraddiji. You can also, you know what, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the many more sizzling topics to come. Hover on the red hearts on the right lower corner section and subscribe. It's free. It's free. YouTube don't send me anything. It's free. Make sure your notification bell is activated. What it's for is you'll be automatically notified of new uploads from me. All right, if you love today's video, then subscribe so that you'll be notified automatically when I, upload another video. Please, let's love our neighbors as ourselves, and remember to rest in peace. We all need to be living in peace. Stay blessed. Bye-bye. You see me in my next one. You see me in my next one. See me in my next one. I can see you. You see me in my next one. Bye-bye. Toodles.